You are a creative and you have a voice. So let's amplify that power and make a difference. Hi, my name is Jessie and I am an advocate of creating with intent. I help you realize the dreams you've pushed and placed in your back pocket. I'm a small town girl navigating her life in the big city, an artist who started her career with a palette from the dollar store and now helping creatives amplify the voice of their art through brand strategy and public speaking. I love me a good story. Personal growth, faith, creativity, and entrepreneurship are the topics that we discuss here, recorded with intimate conversations from the best in the creative community. Think of this as your brunch date with your girlfriends mixed with art and business. So come as you are, drink up your tea or coffee, grab your notes, and let's get you started in this journey. This is Thought Bubble with Jay, the podcast. Hey everybody, I am back for another episode of the Wednesday Creative Check-In. And as promised, I am bringing you another special guest, an artist that probably you might consider as different from the roster of artists that I normally invite on the podcast. But I assure you, you will definitely get a lot of, not just three, probably four or five, maybe, golden nuggets from her. I say different because normally you would hear people on the podcast, or at least on the Wednesday Creative Check-In, who are part of the watercolor or calligraphy community. Today, I invited her, and I'm a little bit biased on this because I love macrame and I've always wanted one. And if you see her page, you will definitely know why I fell in love with this girl and why I invited her on the pod. So I'll let her talk more about what she does, but I'm bringing in Erii of Elipani Arts to talk about her process, and other important thing to discuss is the art of saying no. So without further ado, please welcome to the show, Erii.
Yes, thank you for
Hello.
inviting me. Mhm.
Thanks, Erii. So I've been following you on the gram, and like what I said, I love macrame, and I think you're the only artist that I have on the roster of my
Really?
following who is doing
Mhm.
macrame. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more about you, your IG handle. What is the background, and really anything about Erii?
I am Erii. I'm a software analyst actually by profession and
Wow.
macrame maker by heart. Yeah, I know. So different. I am passionate about DIYs actually. Anything about
Mm.
DIYs. I
Mhm.
basically grew up really into it. Most of the time when I wanted something, I analyze first if it's doable by me.
Mhm.
Especially if I have materials lying around, and if it will cost less if I'll do it myself rather than buying it as a ready piece. So
Mhm.
that's how it started with macrame. It was I think way back 2008 when when I learned about it. Yes,
Okay.
and I instantly fell in love the moment I laid my eyes on one. Actually,
Mm.
it was Tumblr days. I'm
I
old.
know Tumblr days. I
Yes, yes,
remember
Tumblr days.
Tumblr. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I I know to myself that I wanted one, but it wasn't until 2009 when I made my very first piece. It took a year because I'm still a student back then, and my allowance for school are just for fare and for
Mm-mm.
food. So, and honestly, the materials back then, unlike now, are
Mm-mm.
hard to come by, as in no one really knows about it. So they're actually clueless. What's that? Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-mm.
So I guess it gives me enough time to save up for materials. So at that time, I'm making my way to writing articles to different companies. So it saves me enough amount money to buy
Mm-mm.
for materials. And yeah, from there, tada, my first, very first
Years. Mm-mm.
macrame piece. Yeah. Fast forward to now, actually 2018 when I started opening macrame again to
Mm.
other people. It was 2018 when I settled in Zambales and I have nothing to do. So
Mm-hmm.
I think why not doing macrame again? It's at first it's just for decoration
Mm-hmm.
at the place where I'm staying. Well, at that time, I'm making my way into writing
Mm-mm.
articles for different online companies worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
along with other sidelines. So I
Mm-hmm.
get to earn an ample amount. of money to use for stuff I wanted to do. So I won't ask for additional allowances from my
Yeah.
parents. And there I get uh, my resources to buy for my first macrame project.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everything about DIY, including macrame, has been put on hold because of school. And
Mm-hmm.
when I graduated from college, though I started a job as a accessories crafter, my parents obviously really want me to land a day job and
Yeah.
normal, office
Yeah.
work. So fast forward to quitting my day job, and it was 2018 when I settled here in Zambales, and I have all the time to do it. So there. So actually, the my my name, my craft business name, uh, it it changes over time until I finally decided
Oh,
it became
okay.
Elipani Arts and Crafts. Yes.
Mhm.
Elipani because I love elephants. It's actually a
Okay, that
Hawaiian
makes
word
sense.
for
Okay.
yeah. Honestly, most of the people who heard of that thought it was, a word game or word play with
Mm,
my
with your name.
not.
Yeah,
No, it's not. It's actually a Hawaiian word for elephants. Yeah, that's
I
it.
see. Thank you, Erii. And also your name. Your name has a
Yeah.
good story behind. Would you like to share on that before we dive
Okay.
into your background? Yeah.
Mm. Actually, my first name is Eleanor,
Okay.
and way back college, I have this Nihongo class, and
Mm-mm.
our sensei told me that Eleanor in Japanese is Erinoa. So I just omit the word Eri, and
Mm.
it's kinda. I think Ellie is pretty normal nowadays, so I
Yeah,
think
quite
it's kind
common.
of unique. So
Yeah.
I'm using it most of the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
I love when I was reaching out to you and then I saw it's Erii. I was like, that's a
Yeah,
very unique name with two I's at the end. So it's spelled as Erii, right? And then
I.
yeah, it's so I would say cool. It's not that we don't want a first name because mine is Jessica, but I
Yeah.
yeah, I
You played it
yeah
on.
played it. Yeah, I played around with it. Okay, so your macrame started in 2008 Tumblr days, you
Yeah,
said.
2008.
So it's
Tumblr
been
days.
over a decade, and I'm amazed right now that
Yeah.
it's been over a decade. There is another thing that I've read about you, Ari, and that is that you are into traveling
Yes.
within the Philippines and then around Asia. So can you tell us a little bit of background as to how you managed to do that while doing arts?
When I first my very first macrame piece, it was way back. I'm still in college
Okay.
that time, but it's just for myself. It's just a
Yeah,
decor for myself.
that's how everything started, right? First for yourself
Uh,
and then okay.
and since as I said earlier, the materials are hard to come by. And it's really costly
Mm,
that time back
yeah.
then. So the materials that I have really are just for myself. So whenever people would see my room or they would ask where do you get that,
Mm,
and I will answer them I made that. So it's the only time they will ask me if I can make one for them. And
okay.
that time I'm not after for big amount of money or to earn from it. I'm
Mm.
just enjoying making one. So what I did is told them to just buy the materials and I'll make it for free
Oh,
for them
okay,
because it's
okay.
just a hobby back then.
Hmm.
Yeah. So uh traveling actually on the other hand, it has been a cure for me, honestly.
I see. Mm-mm.
But I only started traveling when I graduated from college. It
Mm-hmm.
was for me, it's an escape until I make it my reality when I became a freelance last 2016.
Okay.
So I used to travel a lot, and by mean a lot, aside from personal desired destination, I also organize trips even back when I still
Yeah,
have
I've
a
read
day job.
that.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Every weekend I organize climbs or out of
Mm.
town trips, mostly with closest friends. I'm not that time I'm not jumping to plain strangers. So
I
just
see.
friends, so I can
Mm-mm.
reconnect with them through traveling as well. So I can
Mm-mm.
have some time with them.
Mm-hmm.
So with my personal desired destination, I make it sure it's a journey with purpose and a growth in it, not just, for Instagram or
Okay.
posting pictures, something like that. So I make sure to include in my itinerary where I can learn things that I always wanted to try, like weaving in Mindanao and Visayas, pottery in Sagada, what else? Basket making in Cordillera, rattan weaving in Pangasinan, sculpture in Northern Luzon, some stuff like that. Uh, it's more of an immersion and
Mm-hmm.
learning their culture.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have a crisis going on in me with what I really wanted to do with my life,
Mm-hmm.
especially with what society expect you to be. Especially
Mm-hmm.
I'm a graduate of BSIT, and now
Yeah.
I'm doing macrame. So it's really different. So
Yeah.
yes, because back then I feel trapped, I
Mm-hmm.
feel deprived, I feel like there is, more from this day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, it was what I wanted, the office job, because I'm not yet, my mind is just so narrow of what, my parents would want you to be, something like that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
haven't explored the world yet.
Mm-hmm.
So but but when I get to travel and meet different kinds of people, my views in life drastically change actually.
Mm-hmm.
Desiring for what, society perceives as luxurious doesn't affect me anymore. Uh, I crave for a low profile and solemn and, peaceful way of living. That's why I settled in Zambales, so laid back province.
Mm-hmm.
And I find the excitement I am looking for um, from those handmade works they are making from the travels that I get to
Mm-mm.
see where the people make living with those handmade products. It's I guess it's also a day job, but more lax and at your own pace. And when you see the output product in a day or two, it feels really fulfilling to satisfy yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
you make something not just by anyone's choice or decisions, but yours alone. So, and it helps in a way because the things I learned from those I get to apply with macrame. Like now,
I
I've been
see.
incorporating weaving that I learned from Mindanao to my
Mm-hmm.
design, and
Mm-hmm.
planning to add more in the near future. I'm just visualizing things to
Visualizing
how
things.
to, yes, to incorporate other kinds of art mediums that I will incorporate to my macrame.
I love that side of the story, and I'm glad that I I saw that post from you saying about that you travel a lot, and knowing the reason
Yes,
and the purpose behind as to why you did it. I mean, right now, of course, we're restricted because of the pandemic, but
yes.
the the purpose behind it, like what you said, it's really good, the immersion part. And in a way, it's more of, and I wish I've done that as well when I was in the Philippines, like go to the different provinces. I've tried pottery in Sagada, and I think pottery and weaving in, was it Ilocos or Vegan? I can't remember because it's back in 2015 when I went there. But it feels good, right? To be able to see the different cultures. And then with you right now, what you're doing is applying what you have learned from this um, people as you travel. And I think that's also other side of it, right? When we travel, like what you said, it's more than just for
Mhm.
the gram, but really it's the immersion and
Yes.
learning more about the culture of the people that
Mhm.
you will be meeting from that place, and then diving into their culture and really understanding it and adapting to it, like what you're doing right now with macrame. So
Mhm.
let's shift gears and focus on macrame right now. um Erii, I saw, and this is the reason why I actually invited you. This is quite
Mhm.
interesting. And to be honest, I was like, wow, she said no. I was really blown away. So guys, if you will drop by Erii's Instagram handle, Alepani Arts and Crafts. If you, I'm not sure which number it is right now on your feed, but there is a post there when you were asked to do a gallery, or was that a show or an exhibit of a of your
Actually,
works?
a boutique
A
with
boutique. Mhm.
different handmade products of the Philippines actually, and actually there are no catering around the world. So
Okay, so it's a huge opportunity, you guys. And Erie here, on the other hand, so it's an opportunity for her works to be showcased alongside, or at least a place where Solen Yusaf, who is a very known artist in the Philippines, will display her works. But interestingly, you said no. So can you tell us about
yeah,
that decision, Erie? And I know you mentioned quite bits and pieces of it on your caption, but what's the reason behind? What is the thought process behind the no?
I think as far as I remember, they reached out last February, and I haven't posted it. I think I posted it last
Yeah, just
March. So
recently. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. When I read their proposal, it is something someone would definitely say yes,
Hmm.
but I know right from there that I have to say no. Uh, it's simply because I know what my priorities are, and at that time, I know it's not on my list. And honestly, they keep on approaching me. They still keep on messaging me,
Mm-mm.
but still, it's not yet on my priority list. Uh, my craft has been earning enough for money to pay for my bills and some I consider personal luxury, but the amount of money that I need to shell out for that is costly
Hmm.
for me, and with everything that is going on, pandemic and all, uh, the assurance is not really that high.
Hmm.
uh, I know you'll get you get far when you take risks, but
Right.
knowing what the risk is also something. I guess I learned that from experience, and having an assurance is not also bad because you only wanted to be sure of. After all, everything now is money is so hard earned. So I just
Hmm.
make my list with what I wanted with macrame, and for now it's not really on that list.
Hmm.
But I guess if almost everything is back to normal and still given a chance, I'll probably grab it.
Hmm.
But for now, it's it's a no. I mean, there are still other brands that always sends me a proposal of the same kind. But I have to evaluate first
Right.
before I jump in. So I guess saying no to them is not, for me. It's not that hard
Hmm.
because it's just not on my list.
Okay.
When you know your list and you focus on those,
Hmm.
I mean, it will not be hard for you to, think of it anymore, I guess.
Hmm. I love
Something
the
like that.
I love the points you made, Ari. And you're absolutely right. For other, I would say that if that kind of opportunity, people would say it doesn't come every day, so might as well jump on it, right?
Yeah, I know.
But for
I
you,
know.
you were very firm in saying no, and you said earlier that you knew that you it's not yet the right time because it's not in your priority list. You touch on uh, other brands approaching you, but you evaluate. So is it safe to say that as an artist, you all learning to say no is key because you are putting your work out there and you want to be able to publish your work in a way that it resonates with your values and what you stand for.
Yes.
Is that right, Ari?
If you will not put your whole heart to
Mm,
it, I mean, if you're halfway
yeah.
decided,
Hmm.
it will show on your output product, especially with mine. It's macrame, and when I'm not in the mood, it really shows in my items. So
Hmm.
I guess it's really learning what are your priorities, or what do you want really for
Hmm.
your craft. So
Okay.
yeah, that's
Which that's a good springboard to my next question about creative freedom, because you said that it's about creating what you really want, right? And I know
mm,
you dabbled, you tried different art mediums before, and guys, if you will see her profile prior to macrame, she was also trying out different things like watercolor. So, but you made a decision to focus on macrame. And
mm,
I know recently there was also another post about designs and someone messaging you something about a similar design that she had. Is that right, Ari? And then in the end that person apologized to you, but that was a piece that was commissioned, right? That was a piece requested by a client. So I'd like to touch on creative freedom, because this is very common with artists, that there are some artists who would say no to a commission work just because the customer will, or the client will dictate exactly what they want, and sometimes they will bring in a Pinterest copy of, what they really want as an output. But some artists would say no because it takes away their creative freedom. What is your take on that, Erii? Especially with macrame, right? It takes time to create. It's very intricate in that sense. Do customers normally come to you with a design, or because I know most of your pieces are pre-made? So what is your take
Mhm.
about creative freedom and having that firm belief that this is what I have created and this is what I'm publishing to the world?
Okay. Actually, my macrame started last 2018, and back then I'm just doing a plant hangers,
Mm,
and it's just for my plants, actually, for my personal, again,
mm-mm,
design and decor.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
But in time, most of the time, I always make a project that I want to have. Like I
Okay.
wanted a throw pillow that
Mm,
has macrame on it, or I wanted a curtain. So always something like that.
mhm.
So I guess regarding with the one you said about this piece that I've asked to do, actually the buyer is a repeat customer, and
Okay.
she's been buying from me ever since day one. Actually, she's a major supporter of
Mm-mm.
my craft. I honestly said no. Actually, I honestly
Uh-huh.
said no to her, and
Uh-huh.
I even recommend other artists if she
To
wants
do it.
to,
Yeah.
but yeah, to do it. But she's actually so firm that I'll be the one to do it, because she knows me already, and
Mm-mm.
she knows my crafts,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the macrame she has came from me. So she really know how, you know for her word that my macrame is good, and she
Mm-hmm.
don't want to try anyone else. So I just told her that I don't usually make a piece that is not entirely coming from my own design or
Design.
ideas.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Honestly, whenever someone would ask me to, to copy this piece, I always ask them if I can tweak something,
Mm,
because I don't want it as copycat. Because
right.
if someone would copy my design, I would
Exactly.
feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would feel bad. So some clients would say yes if
Mm-mm.
I ask them to tweak something, but this specific one, she really said no. So I told her the scenario, and she said, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." I mean, there are other people, especially those who are not into arts and crafts. They really don't. I mean, they have no idea
Exactly.
about how this works especially with an artist.
Mm-mm.
I mean, artist feels proud of their own work, especially if it's a design that they
They
really
really,
made.
yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't in my part, I just didn't post it online. So because yes, I am proud that I finished one, but I'm not really proud to show it to everyone, because it's not my own design. So,
Mm-mm.
and of course, no, this buyer posted online, and
Yeah.
I don't know how the real designer of that piece came to see that. So she posted something about copycat and all, and
Mm-mm.
for me, I know my fault on that whole scenario. So,
Mm-mm.
but I messaged her right away,
Right.
asking, and uh telling her about everything,
Mm-mm.
sending her screenshots of our
Oh.
conversation with
Mhm.
my client.
Mm.
So, she understands that I did not intentionally
Yeah.
copy the piece. So
Mm.
she understands because really nowadays, uh, I actually I joined Facebook groups of macrame maker, and honestly, most of the artists, came their ideas from Pinterest, something like that. So it's a mix of different designs now.
Right. Yeah.
So I explain it to her nicely.
Hmm.
So I think communication actually is the key. So
Good point.
from then she realized, yeah, she realized that uh, she's just, frustrated and
Of
mad.
course. Right.
And I understand. And I assured her na I understand. So and I think she deleted the post already. And we're in good terms now.
That's good.
So yeah.
That's
Mm.
good.
And it's lesson learned. Actually, I've asked the client if where she saw the photo so I can ask permission, but she said she forgot. So yeah,
Oh, okay. I think that's a thanks, Ari. I think that's the key, right? Because with artists, you're absolutely right. A lot of people now we draw reference from a lot of things, and copying, of course, is something that everyone cringe upon. But they would always say from the books they like an artist, right? And you would steal, but then you will innovate. I think that's what will make your art different. Okay, you can be inspired, but then you have to innovate and recreate it from your beliefs and your values into it. And I'm
Mhm.
glad that everything turned out okay. And you're right, communication is
Yeah.
key. But the second part of my question about that is that what's the most difficult lesson you've learned in crafting your own business, especially Elipani arts and crafts?
The most difficult thing I've learned actually that I have to rest and listen to my body when it's tired.
Okay. Okay.
As in, I think because I am used to being busy, that
Mm,
my hands is not comfortable when it's not making
make
anything.
anything.
It needs, yeah, it needs to be really busy. So I remember when we went to I out of the country, I think Taiwan. I'm sad and mad because I didn't bring any macrame piece to work
Oh
on,
my
really,
gosh.
because when we're back at the hotel, I was like, I'm bored. I want something to do. My
Mm-mm.
sister told me rest, sleep, something like that.
Right.
So I always do macrame, but there was this time when I think I reached its maximum limit. One morning when I woke up, I can't move my fingers. I mean,
Oh,
it's shaky.
yeah.
If I do move it, it hurts like, it really hurts. It's swollen, it's reddish, and it's shaking at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's actually worse. It's really worse and frustrating. And I guess it took me a week or two before I was able to get back to do macrame again. It's frustrating to put hold on to the orders and have to decline
Decline.
incoming orders.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and just because I didn't listen to my body, that
Mm-mm.
I do need to rest because
Mm.
honestly, it's the most vital thing, especially my hands on my business.
Yes,
And
it's your food.
yeah, yeah. And when I realize when I'm rested enough, my mind function well to think of new ideas, new designs, and I have this so much, eagerness on finishing a piece when I'm rested enough. So yeah, I
Mm-mm.
guess that's the lesson, really hard, lesson that
Lesson
I've learned.
learned.
Not only me, but most of the people that are, hardworking,
Yeah,
they
feels
left
with the
no
hands.
room for sleep or or to rest, or even on weekends they keep on working, something like that. And our body is all we got. So yeah, we
That's
need to rest.
yeah, rest. I feel like you're speaking to me right now, Ari. Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed our chat, Ari, and I it's really great to learn more about you and what you do and really the story behind it. I wish I had met you years back when you were still traveling around the Philippines, because that would be a good opportunity to really go around the country and learn more about the culture, and now incorporate that into what we do as an artist. So, Erii, we're nearing the end of the podcast, but I normally ask these two questions. First is, what is in the pipeline for Elipani Arts and Crafts?
Actually, a lot. As in a lot. More weddings. I love weddings.
Oh, okay.
I dream of working on one. Been writing about weddings actually for more than 10 years now. So,
Okay.
and in macrame, I finally incorporated last year and would
Mm,
love to add more on that list.
mm-mm.
And macrame wedding curtain as, backdrop.
Backdrop.
And,
Right.
yeah, and
Mhm.
more variations, more choices for wedding souvenirs. Again, more curtains for,
Mm.
garden windows. Actually, I'm making three 9 by 5 feet now for a wonderful lady. Yes.
Yeah.
And what else? I am creating my own website actually. Yes, thankful for my college degree for that. But I don't hire someone else.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
perks of being a software analyst.
yes. I'm
I might need
supposed
your help on that.
I'm supposed to actually launch it last January, but I got
Mm-mm.
a problem on the server, so I'm still working on it.
Okay.
It's it's a website where people can see my portfolio, so it's easier for them to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and lastly, I was invited for exhibit. It's a small exhibit. Actually, it'll be happening tomorrow, June 1 to June 12,
Oh
here
wow.
in my hometown, San Jose,
Oh, that's
SM.
why you came back
Yeah,
to
actually one of the
Bulacan.
reasons. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a friend of mine who invited me.
Mm-mm.
So and it's yeah, from June 1 to 12. So I'm at SM San Jose del Monte, Bulacan.
That is amazing. And yeah, a lot of things in the pipeline. So, Erii, final thoughts. What are the three golden nuggets that you would like to leave our listeners?
Okay. First, that would be learn when to rest. When
Yes.
yeah, because your body is all you got. Don't deprive yourself with a good sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a greatest gift you can give yourself. And
Okay.
trust me, you'll function well enough when you are rested.
Mm-mm.
Listen to your body, listen to what it is saying to you. Second, take risk, but you know when to do it. It's
Mm-mm.
easy to say, but we all have that gut feeling over something.
Mm-mm.
So for me, I just follow it.
Mm-mm.
But learn to analyze things beyond
Mm-mm.
what you see.
Mm-mm.
Talk to people who have much more experience on the field you choose. Read people's lives if there's something posted online. So
Yeah.
you learn also to get ideas and inspiration. So because when you take risks, yeah, taking risk is a big decision, so you have to be prepared for anything.
Okay.
So and lastly, do anything wholeheartedly. Don't do it halfway. Do it because you're passionate about it, you love doing it, because it will really shows on your output. And put your whole heart, whole mind to it, as in 101%. If
Mm-hmm.
there's more than that, it's actually really fulfilling to see the output products. Especially if you're into crafting, it's a different kind of joy when you see the clients that are really happy about their purchase, because money is hard earned nowadays,
Mm-mm.
and they also want to see where their money goes, and if it's really worth it. And
Mm-mm.
when they see your macram hang on their wall,
Yeah.
it's also fulfilling for them that their money didn't
You
go
might need
to
the waste.
so yeah, it shows. So for me, I make sure that whenever I make a piece, I do it wholeheartedly and I put
Mm-mm.
myself to it. And it's actually it's a different kind of elation in fulfillment to see
Mm-mm.
your work on someone else's, and they're so happy about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a rewarding feeling.
yes, it's
So
really
rest, take risk, and the last one is to do things wholeheartedly. Erin, it's been a pleasure having you again. Thank you. I know you're busy with the exhibit and all, but and then you drove all the way from Zambales to Bulacan. But thank you again for taking the time to making time to speak with me and for to share your story. here at Thought Bubble. And I look forward to more of your work, seeing more of your works. And please continue to write beautiful captions because I love reading them. And more power. All the best. I will link all of the info for about Ellie on the description box. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and I will be publishing the video on my YouTube channel, Artsy Jessie. And I guess that's about it. So thank you everyone for tuning in to the Wednesday Creative Check-in. I will catch you up again for Sunday Sala. Erii, thank you so much for joining. Have a great rest of the
Thank you,
day.
Jess. Thank
Thank
you. Have
you.
Hey, you, pat on your shoulder for finishing this episode, and thank you for giving me the space to burst my own thought bubbles. If you're feeling generous, hop onto Apple Podcasts and drop us a review, or you can share the link of this episode. That would be amazing. Until then, thanks for listening.